Let's have a quick look at lab maps in Sassafras AllSight. You may be familiar with this, but if not, the idea, at least as originally designed, is to allow students and end users in a higher ed environment to see the current status of individual computer labs, how many computers are available, and then if you click to go all the way into a specific location, you can actually click computer by computer to see what software is installed and whether or not it's in use. Now I'm logged in as an admin, so I see some additional information like the user and the IP address that you wouldn't normally see as a guest user, but that's the kind of the main idea behind creating these maps and making them available to your end users. There are some other use cases though. In some cases, we've seen admins of the AllSight instance use this from an administrator level. And one thing you can do, if rather than looking at each location to see how many computers are available, you wanted to see how many computers are in use, in the settings for an individual tab here, you can actually display what's in use instead of what's available. And when you do that, it just reverses the numbers. So now you can see how busy a room is in terms of how many computers are actually in use. But let's take a step back and start from the beginning here. When you first visit this page, what you're going to see is a list of all of your divisions. And to really start at the beginning, I'm going to create a new tab so you can see what that will look like. So in the process of doing this, I just want to point out that there's two ways of creating this list. One is divisions, and you're just going to see a location for each division that you would have on your computers page. And then the other is called valued tag. I'm not going to go deep into that functionality here because it's very rarely used. There's special cases where that's needed. Most of the time it's not. So we're going to stick with division-based maps. But if you feel like you have a need for computer groups on a map that don't match your division structure, definitely reach out to us at support@sassafras.com and we can tell you more about what the valued tag functionality is about. In this case, I'm just going to give this a name, new map, and we're going to click to save. Now we've got a new tab that is the default view. So if we compare those, one thing I want to point your attention to on the main campus one here is that some of them have this string of icons while others just have this plus. And on the new map I created, everything just has that plus. So the idea here is everything's listed so that you can decide what you want to place on the map, but only those things that you are actually going to build that floor plan for get added to the page and have the list of icons here that allow you to place it on the map, go into options and settings, create open hours for a given location, build out the floor plan, or publish it to make it visible to the public or guest account. So those divisions or locations that you're going to place on the map, you can click plus, and then you can essentially either give it a custom name, display name, type out a description. If there are computer name prefixes in this room and you want to hide those, like let's say this room computers all started with makerspace 001, makerspace 002, then you could actually type that prefix here and hide whatever you don't want to be displayed. So when you go into the floor plan, the computers would just be 001, 002. So that's the idea there. In this case, I'm just going to click to add this one and you'll see we get those icons. Oh, because I changed the name and it no longer starts with a number, it alphabetically dropped down to where this is listed. Now let's say for some reason I only wanted to place these two items on the map and I don't want to have to scroll all the way down here every time to see it. If you hold Shift on your keyboard, when you press the plus icon at the very top of the page here, it will hide everything that hasn't been added as a location that you want to place on the map or build a floor plan for. So again, hold Shift and click this plus and it will show or hide all of the divisions that have not been added to the page. Okay, what this plus is also for is if you wanted to create a location that combines other locations. So your divisions may have a nested structure, and let's say you don't want to go all the way down to the bottom of that nested structure, but you just wanted to do a top level grouping. So if you look here, this division has a nested structure underneath it. There's a folder called Graduate. In this case, there's just one folder underneath Development, so it's not going to really make much of a difference. But the idea is I could click this asterisk, and when I add that to the page, it will create an entirely new grouping that's a higher level within a nested structure and allow me to have a computer group that maybe spans the entire floor of a library or tech center or multiple rooms within a given location. That's the basic idea there. So next step is going to be to actually add a location to the map itself. And I'm going to go ahead and hold Shift and click plus again just to get down to the two that we're going to be working with. And I'm going to click this map pin that has a little plus icon next to it. That's going to bring up the map. We're zoomed way out into space here, but we're going to kind of zoom into our location. And one thing I wanted to point out is as long as you do not just click, you can move this map around and zoom in and do whatever you want with this location map. If I just click, what it's actually waiting for is for me to click on the map to place that pin. So as long as I move around when I click down, it's not going to place that pin. So I'm going to kind of slowly zoom in and find my location, in which case we are ready, and we're just going to click to drop the pin on the map. So that's the first location. It's now saved there, and now I won't have to deal with that zoomed way out map anymore, because when we refresh this page, it's going to focus on and center on that location I've already placed. So it's just the first pin that requires that much zooming around and dragging. After that, when we go to place the second pin, it's going to be a lot easier because I can much more quickly find that location. Okay, so when you refresh the page, you might have noticed we leave list view and we're just looking at the map itself. This is the default view once locations have been placed on the map, but I can always go back to the list view to get the full location map. And after that, really the next step is going to be to create the floor plans, and we'll cover that in a different video. But I just wanted to point out that what we're doing here is we created a new tab within the settings. We gave it a name, and we can make this visible to the guest account or public viewers whenever we're ready. We talked about displaying computers that are in use in each location as opposed to how many are available for admin use cases. And then we placed a couple of pins on this map, and that's really all there is to this maps page. Please let us know if you have any questions or if you have any feedback, and reach out to support if necessary. Thank you.